And we're singing. We're singing. Dun, 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 dun. Time to talk. Beauty and the Bitch. Oh, Mickey, can you hang out on Tuesday night?
No, I'm very busy.
Oh, it's okay. I'm rewatching a Marvel movie. Oh, what about Wednesday night?
Oh, Wednesday night? Ooh, I'm busy.
Oh, you know what? Actually, it looks like I'm watching the second half of that Marvel movie because it actually was 3 fucking hours long.
Oh, well, good for you, though. Good for you.
Fast forward 4 weeks later. Welcome back to Beauty and the Bitch, babies. I'm Morgan.
And I'm still not free to hang out.
That's a given. That was just a recap of my actual life of the last 4 weeks, trying to catch up and rewatch like 17 movies, right?
I think 18.
I didn't rewatch Black Panther, I only saw it one time.
Well, that's fair, but you saw it in theaters, though.
Yeah.
Which is very fancy.
Yeah. I am very, very fancy. So, of course, I was rewatching that because we are here today to talk about the Marvel Cinematic Universe, specifically getting pumped for the release of Avengers 3? Infinity Wars, which includes 75 top-billed cast members. And we are joined today by our first ever repeat guest, our very, very good friend, Andrew. Andrew, say hi.
Hi.
Oh, I thought he was going to say shalom. That's what he said last time.
Well, you explicitly told me to say hi. Like, if you'd said, say hi, Andrew, I would have said, hi, Andrew.
Yeah,
and when a white woman says say hi, you say hi.
Yeah.
You say how high.
That's how it works. Women have so much power. It's insane.
That's very true.
Constantly I'm walking down the street and women come to me and say, why don't you smile?
Oh, one time a man said that to me on the street, and I've never forgotten it. So I cannot imagine. How many times do you think a person said that to you, Morgan?
I don't get a lot of smile, because to be honest and frank, I'm a very smiley person, so I don't have resting bitch face, but I do get like catcalled a lot, and like it's weird because I even like effectively like ugg myself up, not for you to like make jokes about right now, but like sometimes if I don't want to get hit on, I'll like and like potentially wear like sweatpants and stuff because it's really uncomfortable. Nobody wants to be made to feel that way. But also I want to feel like I'm pretty and that everybody wants to have sex with me. It's a really fine balance, to be honest.
I do get catcalled all the time, but it is by the 3 cats that I live with. So, and normally the call, it's not like, hey baby, it's more just like, feed me.
Lila's so sexist. Yeah, it's really hard for you.
Yeah.
Sluts.
Hey.
Whoa, the shaming. So speaking of top billing, we're super excited to have you back on the show, Andrew.
Excited to be here.
Everything has changed in your life since we saw you last.
Yes.
You're a totally different person.
I have a house. That's probably the main thing that has changed.
A house with rooms?
Yes.
Does it have a floor, though?
Yes, it has 2.
How many bees does it have?
How many beans?
Bees.
Oh, like it had like 1 million last week. Now it's got like 20, I think.
Just like 20 bees? That's not
we
bad.
had a swarm of bees in a tree outside our house, which, if you don't know what I just thought the swarm just meant a lot of bees, but it's an actual thing where bees just turn your tree into a tree made of bees for a night.
It's a special
That's
trick.
horrifying.
Special trick.
How did you get rid of them?
We hired a local beekeeper to come out and
set them on fire.
Yeah.
And not protect them.
Flamethrower.
No, bees are very good for the environment. You should treat them well. Get them to a local beekeeper. It's fine. Now, if it's yellow jacks or wasps, then just burn them.
You should just burn your whole house down, and just be done with it.
Can I just tell you, I love how you just abbreviated Yellow Jacket. It was really
Yellow
cool
Jacks.
and very cash and sounded like really cool. I
think it was just like a verbal typo, but
I'm
going to stand by it.
Well, I think we should run with it.
Yeah.
Well, we were just talking about how you've gotten a lot more hipster in the recent weeks, so I think you should just own your word change and make it a thing.
I've just gotten lazier, really. Like I've
That's the hallmark.
No, to be fair, I am also considering starting to try to make my own pickles. So maybe I am just like falling into the
Andrew, and we're not interested in joining your band. Please quit asking us.
But please read my theater reviews that I do as a part-time theater critic while I do my day job in marketing.
Whoa.
There's flannel in your future for sure. No doubt.
Sure.
So, Andrew, you've already answered our normie guess questions. So we pulled together just a couple of new guess questions for you, okay? And if you get stumped, you can tag out. The way you tag out is just by slapping Morgan anywhere. Okay? And that's your signal to be like, girl, I can't answer this question. Okay?
It's weird because I am used to that.
That is so sad, and we do not condone abuse of any sort.
Oh.
Except verbal, obviously. Okay, you ready for this, Andrew?
It's funny, because if I were to imagine if either you or Aaron were physically abusive, 100% it would be you. Like Aaron would 100% be the better.
Oh, certainly. Yeah, I feel like he would wake up in the middle of the night and you'd be pulling out his mustache hairs with tweezers or something. Like,
did you read that in his diary?
No. Oh, that's so sad.
Girl.
Okay, so Andrew, since we're talking about Infinity War movie today and about the MCU in general, we were wondering, which Avenger is your personal favorite and why?
Okay, so
Black Widow because
this is going to be super obnoxious. Do you mean like
D.
from the comics or from the movies?
Oh, can we do both? I want to know both.
Okay. Yeah. So if we were to do from the comics, that's tough. Let me start with the movies because there's less to think through. And so I'm going to just stick with the people who have actually been Avengers, because right now probably my favorite character in the MCU would be Shuri, but she is not technically officially an Avenger. I would probably go with, I've just really liked, the evolution of Chris Evans as Captain America. Because I think he is not all that good in the first Captain America and not all that good in the first Avengers, and then just slowly gets like better and better in the role as he goes along. And so it's been really interesting to watch that growth. And so like now when I see an Avengers movie, he's probably my favorite. Though he would not have been at first.
So just to recap, your favorite Justice League member was Superman.
Yes.
And your favorite Avenger movie type is Captain America, which is essentially the Marvel version of Superman, sort of, except without really cool laser eyes and stuff.
Yeah, well, I'm really super patriotic, you know.
You do love America.
You know, MAGA, like, lock her up, build that wall, all of that, you know.
Oh, no.
No, and more seriously, I mean, like, both of them have the roots in, like, you know, created by these, like, Jewish guys who were feeling powerless during World War II, you know?
Oh, for sure.
And so I think that there's a lot in the archetype that kind of speaks to them. But interestingly, I would say that, like, in the comics, I don't necessarily feel the same with Captain America, because I think that there's been so many more stories that they've had to be a lot less deliberate with how they're presenting him. And you've just had so many different versions of Captain America, you know, like, you know, there was literally like a commie smashing Captain America, you know, so, and I don't even know if it's necessarily the writing of the character that I've really liked as it has been like Chris Evans as a person portraying that character. Cause I think it's also somewhat mirrored his own, I mean, I'm like now psychoanalyzing someone I know from like 5 tweets I've read, but
we
like
love that.
That's
what we do.
Like his own kind of growth as a person from kind of like a young movie star to someone who's like recognize that like he has this iconic role and like who is outspoken on like his beliefs on issues and things. You know?
What about his massive conversion from being a friend to Jenny Slate to stealing her away from her husband, and now they're an item?
Didn't they break up though?
I don't know. That's a whole nother level.
I didn't know he stole her away from her husband.
Oh yeah, she was hella married.
Oh boy.
Yeah, they were. I heard them together. They were on Anna Faris's podcast, Unqualified, and they were talking about how like people just like don't understand that you can like just be best friends with like a person of the opposite sex, and they were like just best friends. And literally the next day on TMZ was like, and Jenny Slate leaves her husband for Chris Evans, and they're like making out, and it was like, you're not doing anything for this friendship argument.
No.
Well, you know what, personally, this is a lot of time, I buy that you can be friends with someone of the opposite sex, no doubt.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
If that, I don't know who Jenny Slate is at all. I'm not going to front. But if that person, one half of that duo, looks like Chris Evans, though...
No, that's fair.
I don't know if
so Jenny Slate from Parks and Rec, she's, give me money!
Mona Lisa Saperstein.
Evans?
friends. Yeah, well, perhaps maybe not anymore. But they were really good friends for like many years before this husband divorce together situation. But you're right, Chris Evans. He ain't nothing bad to look at. That's for sure. No. And he really did have a great evolution of acting because he wasn't that great. Yeah. And he did get much better. Though my favorite Captain America portrayal from the MCU rewatch I just did is actually him in Spider-Man Homecoming in the like little videos that they show in like health class. So that was my favorite.
I just rewatched that last night, and on the DVD they have
I just rewatched that last night.
They have bonus clips of him, of like extra ones that didn't make it into the movie.
Oh shit.
That are hilarious and amazing. And like some of them clearly they did to like that we're never gonna make the movie because they're so just satirical.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. And even funnier, they have, like, you know how they do the, like, Midtown High, like, news team things?
Yeah.
They have a whole, it's like an avant-garde comedy piece of, like, the Midtown High news team.
Nice.
It is pretty great.
That's solid.
And so who would be your favorite Avenger from the comics?
Yes. Then? So, I've been racking my brain in the back of my brain, as that's been going. I would say, you know, probably it would skew towards, the portrayal of Spider-Man in the Avengers during Brian Michael Bendis' run in it, because he turned him into the kind of moral core of the Avengers during a period where, like, Bendis had the Avengers sort of, like, break up and come together in, like, a new form as the new Avengers, but there was this one storyline that always sticks out to me as sort of the epitome of Spider-Man, which is that Norman Osborn, who is the Green Goblin, who's, you know, Spider-Man's biggest archenemy, becomes not...
Oh, you mean James Franco?
No, Willem Dafoe.
Dad.
Oh,
yeah.
Papa.
He becomes the head of S.H.I.E.L.D., basically, and so, like, it's... Reading it now, it's crazy how much it sort of, like, mirrors our current political actual climate of, like, you know, the most heinous evil in charge. But he, so there's this, Hawkeye has this moment where he's like, you know, maybe we just have to, like, entertain this, you know, the easiest and most permanent solution to this problem. And Spider-Man just goes, well, then I quit. Because if this is a team where we even consider murder as an option, then I'm not part of this team and I'm out. And I thought and I really liked that take on that character. I think in the Marvel universe, in the comics and the movies, the characters are more... They do kill, you know, in a way that the DC characters don't, but Spider-Man doesn't. And I think that keeping that as such a, like, core of the character and having that be an important part of him being in the Avengers, I think was a really great take on it.
I agree with everything you said, except I think that the man in the White House would be the Hobgoblin. Because orange.
Oh, true.
Right?
Yeah.
But I mean, that doesn't connect to you. Is Hobgoblin James Franco?
No, James Franco became... Yeah, it's not worth getting into all the different goblins.
Thing. Yeah. I had an action figure as a child with the Hobgoblin, and he threw pumpkins. And even as a child, I was like, that's lame. That's a lame thing to throw.
Sorry, this is a non sequitur, and we have another question for you. But Spider-Man obviously is a character that's been reborn 3 times in, like... It feels like the last decade.
Yeah. It's been within a decade that you've had, I think, the third Spider-Man
the Tobey Maguire vehicle,
first Tom Holland,
and then Andrew
Andrew
Garfield
in between,
and now we have Tom Holland, who, personally, my favorite Spider-Man so far.
Yeah. I still think Tobey Maguire is good in at least the first 2.
The first 2 were good.
I think that it's, everyone's saying that, like, finally there's a good Spider-Man. And I was like, we all liked the first 2 Spider-Man. Don't let the bad third one make you forget that the first 2 were really good.
Plus, I really liked the Mary Jane storyline. Yeah. I was into that. But I think Tom Holland's great Spider-Man. He's, like, super
he's also, it's just a different take on it, which I think is also, which is really good for what it is. I don't want to say that he's necessarily better than the Sam Raimi, though.
Isn't that crazy, though? I mean, I feel like we've seen the evolution of Batman being recast in these different lights, and now we have, like, Spider-Man, but, like, have we really experienced that besides those 2 characters?
Well, over a longer period of time, but James Bond.
Yeah, that's true.
And Doctor Who, yeah.
And we've seen various Supermans along the way.
Oh, that's
true. Superman, it's interesting, though, because, like, there is a definitive Superman in Christopher Reeves, in the way that I don't, like, as, you know, love Adam West though some may, you don't call him the definitive Batman, you know. So I think that there's, you know, there's generally no question as to who the definitive portrayal of Superman is, but with Batman, it's, you know, who's your favorite?
Yeah, interesting.
And I go with Mr. George Clooney.
Oh, you like those bat nipples. That's what you're all about, Andrew. Don't lie.
That credit card, don't leave the cave.
Yeah. Okay, so moving right along. So normally we ask about things that you love, right? We do plugs on this podcast and all that stuff. But since it is Beauty and the Bitch, we thought it might be fun to ask, what is something that you have read, watched, listened to recently that did not live up to your expectations?
So there's this podcast called Beauty and the Bitch.
We knew we were going to say that. Get out of my house.
You were looking sneaky.
This old shady motherfucker walk up in here. He's got a beard. We told him he was 10. We told him we liked him. That wasn't true. It was a lie.
Wow. Okay, well.
So, next answer.
Wow. So bringing it thematically appropriate, I will say I liked it, but I do not think it lived up to the hype. Was Thor Ragnarok?
Oh, you know what? I actually weirdly can't disagree. Spoiler, Thor Ragnarok is in my top 3 favorite Marvel films. Okay. But I didn't see it for a long time because of some circumstances I won't get into. But people loved it so much that when I saw it the first time, I was disappointed. But when I rewatched it, I was like, nah, it's pretty hype. But not as much. When people ruin shit like that for you, it makes it really difficult.
Yeah, I get... And for me, it's also... I can be somewhat of a junkie for, like, structure, for, like, a well-structured film. And I think that... So I think in Thor Ragnarok, there's 2 good films there. There is a story of Thor and the Hulk on Battleworld and Jeff Goldblum and all this, you know, goofy crap. There's a movie about, like, the Odinson family and, you know, and Hela taking over Asgard and this whole, like, colonial narrative. There's 2 good movies there, but you only get half of each of those movies, and I don't feel satisfied by the whole. You know, to me, the fact that, like, in a revolution that is a major part of the middle part of the movie gets tied up in a post-credit scene, like, that's a big problem to me. I just think that it's kind of a mess structurally. That it is a lot of fun, I think, and I think there's a lot of great character work in it, but it just doesn't hold together as like as a full piece for me.
What do you mean by that thing about the revolution scene in the post credits?
So when, like, you see the Jeff Goldblum as the Grandmaster, like, or as the game, whatever his one is, it's crash landed and he's got the former slaves are attacking him, and we were playing footsie and
naturally,
very
pleasurable.
His former slaves are attacking him. That was, you know, a major part of them escaping from Battle, like that.
Yes,
that it should have been, you know, that the fact that can then be relegated to after the fact. It just seems, it shows how inconsequential that part of the movie actually is. You know. Also,
he was like. His line was, like, pretty funny, though. He was like, you fought well, we fought well, we'll just call it a draw.
Yeah, I mean, that was such amazing fan service, I think, Jeff Goldblum in that. I see where you're coming from, though Thor Ragnarok is actually in my top 3 as well, but I will tell you, somehow, I managed not to watch any of the Thor movies until literally, like, 2 weeks ago, and I binged all 3. I don't know how I did it, because I was a classics major in college. Like, I love mythology, and maybe that was why, though. You know how it is, those things you really love, and then it becomes
the Dark World didn't do any service to that franchise.
Well, and that's what I was about to say. I think one of the reasons people love Ragnarok is because Dark World was so very different.
Well, I think part of my... I think that the first Thor is one of the 3 best films in the MCU. And it's
pretty good.
And so I think that's why I didn't have the same amazing, like, oh, it's this, is it a breath of fresh air from Dark World? Yeah, sure. But, like, I didn't feel like the first Thor needed a breath of fresh air in the same way that I think a lot of people did.
I feel like Chris Hemsworth, one of the Chris's, I feel like he does really well in ensemble work. And I feel like when he has a good ensemble to work with, like, he really excels. And Natalie Portman should never be a part of that ensemble. Like, it's weird because she's, like, a good actress in, like, other stuff, but somehow she's absolutely, to me, the worst part of the Thor franchise in the first and second movie. There's no believability on my part that, like, he loves her, and also that, like, she's, like, this really smart scientist that's super dedicated to, like, everything. Like, Kat Dennings is, like, way more convincing to me as the, like, intern who gives zero fucks to, like, her super smart scientist lady situation. Like, I find it very distracting.
And that's a really popular opinion, right? Wasn't she, like, hated in the Thor movies?
No. I like her in the first one. The second one, and I don't know, it's hardly her fault that the script for that is
that's for
so
sure.
bad.
Yeah.
That was trash, yeah.
I feel like with the first one, some of the performances are very tonally different in those first phase one, just because people were coming in with the traditional mindset of, like, oh, we're here to have fun, this is just a bit of goofiness, before you had much more, people were taking these Marvel movies more seriously, and they were making, broader, social statements, as with, like, Black Panther, and I think even Thor Ragnarok does. And so some of the, same with the Incredible Hulk, that you have so many over-the-top performances in that, because that's what a superhero movie was at that point, and that, like, in that first phase, the only, like, Iron Man and Iron Man 2 were the only ones that kind of play it more straight, because I think that was the tone Jon Favreau was bringing to it. But it wasn't until, Avengers came out and was just such a huge hit that everyone was like, oh, okay, you approach this with, like, a level of seriousness in addition to the fun, and that became more of the template going forward.
That definitely makes sense. And I so prefer the later phases of the movies. Like, to me, they're getting progressively, like, wittier and better and, like, just well directed. Except for Jon Favreau. I do think the first two Iron Man movies were pretty solid, especially the first one, like Robert Downey making a comeback and pretty funny.
Speaking of phases, Morgie, since you have it in front of you, could you rattle off for us the 3 phases, just so we hear all the movies that are really coming to a head?
Yeah, for sure. And to me, this was new information. Like, I just didn't even know that there were, like, these separate phases and that they represented kind of, like, chunks of the situation. So when I rewatched the movies, and I think you did too, I watched them in, like, the chronological, not like when they were released, but, like, the storyline order, which I think was really fun.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed that. I felt like it made the later movies more clear, too, because I hadn't rewatched any of the older ones. So, without further ado, Phase 1 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe began with Iron Man, the very first one.
This is a very strange way to pronounce that. Iron Man.
Iron Man.
Hash browns.
You remember.
Captain America.
Followed by the shitty Hulk. I mean, the Incredible Hulk.
Oh yeah, see, I'm gonna step in and defend that.
Uh-oh.
You just go right ahead. We'll just hit pause.
I'll let you go through the list.
Okay. I'll give you Brazil. Brazil was fun.
Yes.
And then the rest of the movie happened.
Sure.
So Iron Man followed by the Incredible Hulk, followed by Iron Man 2, not quite as good as the first one, but still fun. Followed by Thor. I especially enjoyed that scene where he smashed that coffee cup and he was like, more! That was my favorite. Followed by Captain America, the first Avenger. Worst title ever. Followed by Marvel's The Avengers, which is well beloved.
Second worst title ever.
Yeah. It's not working. So that rounds out Phase 1. So that's a nice cap. We've brought everyone together. We've got a little team. We're going to fight some shit. No need to give Black Widow her own film. She's just a woman. Moving on.
Still have not given a woman her own movie.
They keep teasing.
There's one coming, but
is it Captain Marvel?
Yeah.
Brie Larson?
And you get and the Wasp in Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Oh, yeah.
Still not really her own film.
Yeah. Shade. Okay, Phase 2 starts off with Iron Man 3. Not inventive titles here, you guys. Followed by Thor, The Dark World, unnecessary. Followed by Captain America, The Winter Soldier, which I liked a lot better upon, like, a rewatch.
Yeah.
Followed by Guardians of the Galaxy. Followed by Avengers, Age of Ultron. Followed by Ant-Man. And that rounds out Phase 2. It started off shitty with Iron Man 3 and Thor the Dark World, but it really rounded out the last part there.
Well, Phase 2 is really strange to me. I agree it starts off dark. That's what I think about, because I feel like the third Iron Man and then Thor the Dark World, they're gritty in the way I think of, like, almost like some of the earlier Batman movies are really, really dark and gritty.
Especially Thor: The Dark World. It was real like
it was like it's very like we were talking about like the Netflix, all the Defenders and the Daredevil and stuff. That kind of gritty darkness. I felt like they were like, people really want this. But then by the end of Phase 2, we were getting Ant-Man and like you know.
Well, it's weird because even The Winter Soldier, though a great film, was like...
It was very... that's maybe the darkest of them, but it works in that one because it's about a real subject, you know, as opposed to like... It's about a rich guy who, you know, who gets lost in the snow with a little boy, or, you know, or an elf with red power, you know. Like,
yeah, exactly.
It's I feel like it just sort of like there's this kind of level of blandness, I think, in that, you know, to Thor 2 and Iron Man 3 that kind of flattens out, you know.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, and then Phase 3.
There's also Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. also starts near the end of the Phase 2.
So, I guess kind of spoilers, but Agent Coulson or whatever, he dies in the movies, right? But then he's in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I've never seen that show.
So it's not very spoilery because he's been around on the show for 5 years now. Yeah.
Oh no, spoilers that he's dead in case someone didn't see that.
Oh yeah. So he dies in the Avengers and then they brought him back for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
They go back in time?
No, it turns so you never actually see him die in Avengers, and so the backstory is that like Fury had him like taken into this like secret lab where they inject him with Kree blood, like alien blood, and it brings him back to life.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tahiti Project?
The Tahiti Project. Yes. And it was meant to be, so the first season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., the second half, really does tie into the movies a lot more, and there's this, Samuel L. Jackson even is in there, and there's this whole thing where Coulson goes, you know, this initiative was if an Avenger, was only to be used if an Avenger died, and Coulson and Fury goes, well, and that's what we did, you know, and so
that's really sweet. Wait, so is Samuel L. Jackson in the show?
He's in 2 episodes.
Okay.
He's not a big player. Okay. We haven't seen him in seasons.
Yeah. He only appeared in the first seasons.
I really like that actor that plays Agent Coulson. So he's in the whole series. He continues.
He's still in it now.
He's
charming
good
as fuck.
Yeah.
Yes,
and that's what makes Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. work, even when it's not great, is that it's got a really good cast and the characters are really likable.
Well, good for him.
Even when like the storylines are lackluster, like as once you get to like the characters, you're just like, I'm just happy watching them do stuff, you know. Like,
so he traded down from movies to TV, while Robin Sparkles traded up from How I Met Your Mother to being like a sidekick in the Avengers. Like, what the shit? How'd she get that
to
role?
Be fair, Coulson now has like 8,000 hours of screen time versus 4 of Maria Hill. You know?
Yeah.
And he is like definitely the leader of S.H.I.E.L.D. Whereas if he was with the Avengers, I mean, he's always going to be a bit part background player. So I mean, I know we're talking about actors versus characters, but
good for him. And what channel does that come on?
ABC.
ABC.
Hulu.
Yeah, right, girl. I haven't seen that yet, but I think I'll do
all of the network, all of Marvel's network stuff is through ABC because it's Disney.
Okay, well, before we move on to Phase 3, what other network stuff do they? Because I've heard of the
Agent Carter.
So, but she's super dead. So is that set?
That's in the past.
That's set forever.
That's a period piece, but that only ran for 2 seasons, and then they canceled it.
And what did you think about it?
That was good. It was a lot of fun.
Is it that actress from the movies?
It is. Haley Atwell. And it was good. It was a lot of fun. It was this very much tonally the same as Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Like, okay. I think that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Agent Carter, and even as terrible as it is, Inhumans, is tonally of a piece with like the movies.
Is that the Aubrey Plaza show?
No, that's Legion. That's a separate thing.
Yeah. That's amazing though, Legion.
You like
that's
that?
neither here nor
there.
And those are totally the same. Whereas like the Netflix shows are very, very different in tone from the movies. They're much darker.
Also sex and
they're
stuff.
Much more adult. Yeah, there's some brief nudity. There's extremes of violence. There's a lot of cursing. So they're much more, like a gritty Netflix show than they are, like the Marvel movies, which I think is great. I think that you've created I've still not actually watched all of Iron Fist, but at least with Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, and Daredevil, there's 3 such different types of explorations of these characters, which work really well. They just don't, and they're separating more and more from the movies, especially the continuity of the movies. And I think that's in part, just because they've gone in such, different directions with them at this point.
The thing that I think I've actually even said this on the podcast before, the problem for me with the Netflix shows is not just that they're dark tonally, but they are literally dark. Like, I literally cannot see
You
what's
hate
happening.
that shit.
I do hate it. It makes me feel like I'm about to have a panic attack. Because when I start having a panic attack, my vision narrows, and I'm like, oh, I can't see. And I feel like those shows are just constant panic attack.
Daredevil is the worst with that one. I think that Luke Cage is a lot more sunshine.
Oh, yeah. Honestly, I didn't even touch Luke Cage. I got burned by the first two, and I was like, Queen.
Aw, he didn't do it.
Yeah, Luke Cage, I think Luke Cage is of the first, so I haven't seen Defenders or Punisher or most of Iron Fist, but Luke Cage is the best. I would say you might want to give Luke Cage a shot, because it's also not as tonally dark as it's very as much as a white guy can say this, it's very black, in that it's very much about like black culture, and it uses a lot of like black music, and I really liked it for that it seemed, it wasn't trying to like take this black character and make it palatable for a white audience. It just created this like urban tapestry, which was really enjoyable.
Oh, heck
to me.
yes.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe I'll give it a shot.
Yeah. And because he doesn't have a secret identity, he fights during the day, so you can see.
Thanks.
So there's sunshine sometimes.
That's all I ask.
Those masks are inhibiting. Okay, so that brings us to Phase 3, which is Phase 3 going to be ended by this next Avengers series?
Infinity, yeah.
Okay. So Phase 3 starts with Captain America: Civil War, which is basically Avengers 2.5, because almost everyone was there. Followed by Doctor Strange, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, Spider-Man: Homecoming, Thor: Ragnarok, and Black Panther, which I think has become like the best movie ever of all time, according to everyone, apparently. Like, they made so much money, it's insane. And it's still in theaters, yeah.
I mean, I saw it in theater again last week.
Oh, you did?
Because I was doing my chronological rewatch, and I finished Civil War, and then I was like, well, Black Panther takes place a week later, so...
Yeah.
Right, why not? I feel like Phase 3 is by far the best phase. I don't know if I'm alone in that.
It's pretty lit. A lot of stuff. Things are, like, really moving at this point.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it has some of the better movies. I think it also has, for me, some of my least favorite.
Oh, really? Oh, which one?
Doctor Strange is pretty low on the list.
Really?
I actually have to agree, and it's not because of, like, the character or so much the storyline, but I really don't care for Benedict Cumberbatch with an American accent. I find it very off-putting, and it makes that movie harder for me to watch. Mm-hmm. And there's some other things about it that are not quite as compelling for me, but I do enjoy that he's still funny.
Yeah, and I liked, like, once he, I don't know, and maybe I've just gotten spoiled with, not having origin stories anymore, but it's so much reminded me of one of those older superhero movies where it's like, here's who he is, here's his motivation, all of this, that's like, all right, that's fine, but we could have also just done this much quicker, like we could have started with him as, I'm Doctor Strange, here's my backstory, that I don't know, but I get it because he's not as well known of a character, that you do sort of need to do that, but that it wasn't as enjoyable for me because of that.
I thought it was really well made though, like visually.
Gorgeous.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Gorgeous.
And like acting wise, aside from my Benedict Cumberbatch hangups, I felt like the acting was pretty solid.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess for me, here's where I thought it lacked in the villain department. That like Mads Mikkelsen was just, he's great. He's just being Mads Mikkelsen,
Yeah,
and so,
that
like,
wasn't very compelling.
I don't think there was a great, like, there's just not a good villain. I think that the ones that are the best are the ones that have the best villain to them and the best performance from the villain.
Yeah.
And I just feel that, like, Doctor Strange, like, what's their plan? It's just to end death? You're just kind of like, if you actually get into it, you realize that there's nothing there to the conflict that they're having in that movie.
That's legit. Yeah. I think, no, actually, everything y'all both said, I actually totally agree with. I think I just have, Doctor Strange is my favorite Avenger, because I just like magic. So when I see a wizard, I'm like, girl, I love her.
I love in Ragnarok, I love his whole cameo in Ragnarok. But when Thor was just like, Earth has wizards now, and he was like, okay, anyway. But, like, he is a fucking wizard that is just, like, around.
A massively powerful wizard, right? And that's also, of course, where we saw, which Infinity Gem does he... a time obviously. Yeah. So we get to see an Infinity Gem there. Though, the fact that there's an Infinity Gem in a movie does not save anything. Yeah. Because Thor Dark World was horrible, and that was all about Infinity
But
Gem.
also, like, how... not really guarded that Infinity Stone was. Right. And, like, Benny was just like, I think I'll just wear this necklace for a little while. Until I'm done.
Exactly right.
Put it back? Okay, I guess that works.
The Eye of Agamotto, right? Was that
not to harp on this, but I did love him in Ragnarok. Like, I could have watched, like, his scene, like, a couple times in a row. And my favorite part is when he brings Loki back from, like, the falling realm that he sent him to. And Loki, like, pulls out those knives and he's like, who do you think you are? I'm Loki, son of Odin, or whatever. And he goes, okay, bye-bye. And then he just, like, sends the, like, portal forward and, like, gets rid of him. I die. Just, like, watch it over and over.
Oh, my God. I love Doctor Strange.
Oh, my God. Did I finish saying all those words about the movies? Yes, Black Panther. Okay.
Yeah.
So, those are... essentially all the movies. And then outside of that, there is the ABC situation with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and that other stuff. Yeah. And then there's all that shit on Netflix. It's a lot, Andrew.
Runaways on Hulu.
How do you keep up with it?
I don't. I'm far behind on the Netflix stuff. I haven't watched. I'm behind on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I mean, it's not that hard to catch up, like, to one movie every couple of months, to be fair. Yeah. That part's not difficult. But yeah, I'm not caught up on all the TV stuff.
I think most people have to pick and choose to some extent. Yeah. I mean, really do. Yeah, like, that's why I was like, nah, Netflix, I'm just not even fucking with it, not messing with it. But I'm loving Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. The minute that mess uploads to Hulu, this is
you there?
I'm all over that. Yeah, oh, girl. So good.
So there's, like, 5 seasons?
Yeah, it's in the middle of the 5th season.
Mm-hmm. And it stumbled for a minute. There are some stumbles, but just know, anytime it stumbles, it gets back up.
Okay.
And it also has the problem that it does not start off well. Like, it starts off very... So, I mean, giant spoiler. As you know, if you're this far into the podcast, you probably already know that, like, S.H.I.E.L.D. has been infiltrated by Hydra in Captain America the Winter Soldier. That's the whole concept of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but they don't get to it till halfway through the first season. So it'd be like... You know, if, like, Buffy the Vampire Slayer had to take half a season before they're like, by the way, there's vampires, you know? Like, and it was just, like, a high school drama up until then, you know, and, like, they didn't get to the vampire part. Like, that's what the first half of the first season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is.
It's very... I remember when it first came out, I was very like, is this about superheroes or not? Yeah. Like, where is the, like, power? Because it's all about, they're, like, trying to get Quake to go with them, and she's, like, a hacker, and she wears fingerless gloves. You know, it's very, like, that feel.
So she's a hobo.
She's a little bit, she's a hobo hacker.
She lives in a van. She does live in her van.
Down by the river?
And it's a straight-up rape-looking van, too.
Full-fledged. Well, we've all been there.
So, do y'all have... I know it's hard because there's so many... What are your... Could you do, like, a top 3 of the movies so far? Is that too hard to pick? What would you pick?
So I actually put this together ahead of time because I'm such a planner.
And a cheater.
And a cheater.
Both.
But if I had to put a top 3 together... It's just really hard for me, you guys. But what I came up with was Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1. Big fan. Thor Ragnarok. And Marvel's The Avengers. I don't think that's, like, the... Like, I don't think that first Avengers movie is one of the best movies, but I remember the feeling I had when I first saw it. And you're looking crazy over there.
We picked the same
We are the same people.
The only difference is that for me, the Marvel's the Avengers. See, that's a bad title. I can't say it.
It's not good.
That's my number 2. And
mine was
my number 3.
Mine wasn't in, like, a particular order. I
can't believe we picked the same 3. That is fucked up. Get out of my head, witch.
Damn, Andrew.
What about you?
Okay, so I've done the list of what I think are the 3 best, but they're not necessarily my 3 favorites. So my favorites would be number 1 would be the first Avengers. Number 2 would probably be maybe the first Iron Man.
It was pretty solid.
Yeah, it's just really well structured, and it stands on its own. You know, it's the only one that kind of fully stands on its own and is a good movie, because I think the Hulk movie does stand on its own, but just isn't very good. And then I don't know the third one. It might be either. No, I do know. It's probably actually it's probably Avengers, then Winter Soldier, then the first Iron Man would be my three favorites.
I really like that guy who plays Bucky. I think he's
Sebastian
good.
Stan.
Ooh,
Yeah.
yes.
He's so cute.
I was gonna say
So
I
cute.
like him physically. He's a good actor too, but
also
Bucky
pretty.
is like, I'm so over Bucky. I know it's not his fault, but I'm like, girl, buck up.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm tired of you
Have
constantly.
you just been waiting on that joke? Because
I actually wrote that down 3 months ago. No, but I'm serious about that. I don't like Bucky a bit, but I do like the actor.
If I had to pick like two runners up, I upon my rewatch of Ant-Man actually found out that I love that movie. The first time I saw it, I was telling you, Mick, off air, it was kind of post Lost for me. I came late to the game to watch Lost, and the girl who plays the future Wasp, she was Kate in Lost. My least fucking favorite character that I waited for like a million seasons in a row for her to die and never be a part of the storyline again. And then she, of course, was cast as this Wasp character / the love interest in Ant-Man. So I was just kind of like not into it because of that. But I've gotten over that. I've matured. I'm a much better person now. And when I rewatched it, I like could not quit laughing. Paul Rudd, he's so funny and cute.
Very cute.
I'm really
Very
sexist.
funny.
He's cute. Then Black Panther, also fantastic.
I was gonna, if I can jump back. So the three, my differentiation of what I think the three best are, would be, and this isn't in any order, but I would say probably Winter Soldier, Thor, and Black Panther.
Which Thor? The first one?
The first Thor.
Yeah.
Because to me, those are the three that are the most about something, and I like, for me, I like superheroes to have an over, like I enjoy the big slam bang stuff, like that's my favorite thing, but in terms of quality, I think that at their best, superheroes can create really powerful, messages about, things, and I think that those are the three that are the most strongly about something, that with Thor, it's this, it's about dynasties and ruling and the sort of like ancient Shakespearean high culture meets modern culture. With Winter Soldier, it's about the way that like empires crumble and corruption from within. They were warning us about Trump from, all the way back in the past. And then Black Panther obviously is about so much, and is extremely political.
And covers so many bases. It's hilarious, it's heartfelt.
Yeah.
It's action-packed, it's just like everything.
Yeah, and that's one that might age into one of my favorites. It's so, it's so high in my mind right now just because there might be some recency bias to it, Sure. So I wouldn't put it in that list just yet, but it's definitely one of the best of them in terms of the best made. I mean, if nothing else, just, like the amazing work that went in for like the costume and the, and the scenic design that, it's all the studious research that went into it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys have like a favorite like side character that's like not quite a main character, but is like...
I mean, before Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. happened, Coulson was an immediate love of my life.
Yeah.
And I like, what's his face?
Hawkeye.
Thank you very much. He's not a side character. Yeah. He's a very, but in the movies, he's pretty side,
I like Maria Hill, maybe just because, partially just because she's Robin.
That's Kobe Smulders, yeah.
Is that Jonah Hill's mom?
Yes.
Wait, what?
No.
Very confused. Yeah, those are good choices. I feel like the secondary characters are really good. Like it's the universe is really well cast. I think Tom Hiddleston is like the recurring villain / sidekick / like side character.
Yeah, slowly becoming, may become a hero.
Yeah, is an enjoyable arc to watch. I don't know.
And
I feel
very
like
low-key arc too.
Yes, and he and Chris
very
Hemsworth
low-key as well.
low-key.
Look at us Americans.
They have really good chemistry and like they work off each other really well. And Tom Hiddleston. Period.
Yeah, exactly.
So
yeah. I think the best for me, the best moment in Thor Ragnarok is that elevator scene where he's,
we're gonna do get help.
But even like when they're more serious about it, when he's like, I know what you all thought of me, and he just goes, I thought the world of you, like that and if you go to back to that first movie, absolutely, like there is, there is an absolute love in that relationship that and that's why I think that first Thor is so good. That like Loki can't see the love that his brother has for him because of his issues with their father.
Yeah.
You know, that like he transposes those to Thor, but like Thor has like he is always willing to give Loki another chance.
Yeah.
You know, in all of the film, you know, Loki killed conservatively thousands of people in that first Avengers film, and like he still keeps getting second chances from Thor. You know,
he should get. I mean, really, Thor is very much in the wrong. Loki should be punished.
Yeah. No, that's
40
for
times
sure.
over already. But
we were just talking about this. Like when you love people, you're like he killed thousands of people, but they were just earthlings.
Right, exactly.
I mean, who cares?
He's adopted.
Also, Loki makes a really good punchline for Thor. Like, pretty much anytime Thor is like, I'm standing up for Loki, and somebody's like, yeah, but murder. He's like, but he was adopted. It's like consistently.
Do you guys have any guess at what time we're at right now?
48 minutes.
I'm so close, yeah.
Okay. We're going to get there. We're going to wrap this up.
Okay.
Oh, let's talk about our least favorite movies first before we move in.
Okay, real fast. If you have to pick one, which one, now maybe not the worst, but just your personal, which one do you not want to watch again?
So, okay, here's my problem. Thor the Dark World is the correct answer to this question. But I saw that movie on my second date with my now wife.
Aww.
It was after that movie that we had our first kiss.
Hi, Kaylee.
And so, like, it has a sentimental value to me. So, because of that, Iron Man 3.
That's what I was going to say! Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have 3 bad movies listed here, including Thor the Dark World, but I also have to go with Iron Man 3. If I never have to see that movie again, great.
Yep.
Great.
I've seen it, and I remember every time we talk about it, I'm like, wait, what happens? I cannot remember Iron Man 3.
Nothing.
I think I've seen it twice.
Yeah.
Well, it's because it is like, I mean, I was going to say it's like this, but it is literally Iron Man 1 meets Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, and it's just not as good as either of those. You know,
I saw that.
Yeah, I'd rather just see Shane Black do a Shane Black movie or see like a superhero movie, but Shane Black doing a superhero movie just watered down both of them.
That's an interesting perspective.
Plus, it just it's like needlessly offensive with all of the Mandarin stuff, you know. Mm-hmm.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so I think a lot of people would agree that we're not alone. Dark World and Iron Man 3 are kind of the low points.
Yeah, they're no good.
And what I'm going to guess is your third one also.
The Incredible Hulk, yeah.
Which
this is boring.
So here's my defense of that. The first part in Brazil is really good.
I agree with that.
And the final battle, the like going through Harlem, is clearly done with a lot of sets and like miniatures and stuff. And whereas everything else Marvel has been so CGI that it's not done with practical effects. The look of that film of Incredible Hulk, I think, has aged really well because it has a distinctive look of like the Battle of the End just feels a little more real in some ways because it's actually like things that like models and stuff that have been destroyed as opposed to just a computer composite. Now, you still have like a really uninteresting villain and hero fighting in the midst of that, and you're just kind of like, whatever. But
you mean Hulk and bigger Hulk?
Yeah, exactly. And like the like scientist guy who's just goes no, but
which went nowhere.
Yeah, so it is. I will not say that it's great, but I do think that it holds up in a visual sense.
What's the beef with Ed Norton? I mean, besides that he's not a very compelling Hulk.
Yeah, I think it's just terrible to work with. And so
that's kind of what I read.
And so they're just like, well, we can't have him back because we are not going to work with him. So let's,
Y'all like Ruffalo?
Crazy.
Oh, I love Ruffalo.
Yeah, he's a great Banner, right?
He's great.
Yeah, I think he's
so
fantastic.
precious.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's always been my problem with the Hulk, too, is I feel like the Hulk, to me, is not... I don't enjoy him as a protagonist. He's never been one of my favorites. This is me, personally. I'm not coming for the...
Oh, and he's not cute. He's a big old green man.
He's not cute, though. Let's talk about a package. But,
they touched on that in Thor.
I want them to do an intelligent Hulk story, because they've done that plenty of times in the comics where the Hulk keeps Banner's intelligence, or keeps Banner's intelligence but has like an evil side to it. Like I would love to see like a Hulk movie where the Hulk is the bad guy. I think would be really interesting. That it's like, we know that he's the bad guy, the Avengers know he's the bad guy, and like Banner isn't, they're fighting for Banner who's inside of it, but like, I want like Avengers 7, Hulk's the bad guy this time. And by that point, that's probably what their titles will be. Right, exactly.
Avengers 7,
Hulk's the bad guy this time, but for real, and he's a smart bad guy.
So speaking of titles, let's move right along here to Infinity War itself. I've got
two-parter, right?
It is going to be a two-parter. So the first part comes out April 23rd.
Hello.
So it'll be. I think we're putting this out on Monday. And it comes out like on Friday or something after.
Nice.
Thursday evening.
Thursday evening.
Oh, I think we're going to see it.
Yeah, that's when we will be there.
Yeah.
Thursday at 8 p.m. I won't tell you the location.
And our credit card is 446.
Okay, so first of all, do you know how many Infinity Gems there are? Do you have any guess?
6.
Yeah.
I was also going to guess 6.
You were going to guess 6 as well? Okay. And then Andrew or Morgan, can you remember?
He indicated me silently.
I believe in you, Morgan. You might know.
You should.
Can you name them off the top of your head? The 6?
The green one and the pink one and the yellow one and the red
so
one and the white. We're talking about the Power Rangers, right?
Right? Kimberly?
So, there is, I guess I'll go through an order of appearance. There is the Tesseract, which is the
I remember that one.
Space stone.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, where is that from, Thor?
We saw that.
That's Captain America and then Avengers.
Oh, yeah.
And that is, which is funny because it was clearly when they started, it was the Cosmic Cube, which is a different MacGuffin in the Marvel universe, and then they're and then Joss Whedon threw in Thanos at the end of the first one. They're like, well, as this just sort of Easter eggy thing, and now they're like, well, I guess we're doing the Infinity Stones.
Wait, really? They pivoted their whole thing?
To a certain extent, I think, yeah, because it's not until Thor: The Dark World that you find out that the Tesseract was an Infinity Stone.
Well, that's true.
I don't it was because it's the shape and size of the Cosmic Cube, which is a different cosmic object in Marvel lore. But then became the Space Stone later on. Then there is the Soul Stone. No, not the Soul Stone. The Mind Stone, which is inside Loki's scepter, which I guess makes its first appearance in Avengers. But we don't find out it's this actual Infinity Stone until Avengers 2.
Is that what's in Vision?
Now that's on. Yeah, that's. Oh yeah. Here I can even recap where all of them are at the moment. So the Tesseract, last that we know of, was in Odin's throne.
But Loki was like, "Hey, girl, hey."
Yeah. So Asgard. So it's. I think it might be in Loki's possession now.
Sure.
It's some Asgardian has it.
Or maybe Heimdall. Is that his name? Heimdall?
Yeah. Or when Hela did her weird overthrow, I forget.
I think it's definitely with Loki, right? Because he's gonna come back.
Yeah, because he became when he took over as
Hela's dead, so she shouldn't have it.
So then there's the Mind Stone, which is in Vision's forehead. The reality, they're still calling it a stone, even though it's a fluid, is the ether from Thor: The Dark World.
Oh.
And that is, presumably last that we knew with the Collector. But
From Guardians?
Yeah, his shit got real blew up, so who knows if it's still there. The Power Stone, which is the big MacGuffin in Guardians, which now the Nova Corps has.
Yes.
Which I have a feeling they're going to get blown through.
Glenn Close, she was like,
I checked. Glenn Close is not listed in the cast of Avengers, so it'll be interesting how they.
Not even the second one?
No. Maybe in the second one, possibly. Yeah, I didn't look at that. I just looked at the cast for Infinity War. Okay. Then there is the Time Stone, which is the Eye of Agamotto, which Doctor Strange has. There's in the Sanctum Sanctorum. And then the Soul Stone, which has yet to make its appearance.
Oh.
Which, everyone's like, the Soul Stone, where's it going to be? What's going to happen? I in my mind, I'm just thinking, wouldn't it make sense that Thanos already has one? That's my theory, is just that we're going to find out, hey guys, Thanos already has one of these.
Otherwise, he's been wasting, millions of years doing nothing.
He's a really terrible strategist, because he already lost one stone to try and get another.
Yeah.
He gave Loki the Mind Stone in an attempt to try and get the Space Stone and ended up losing both. He trusted Ronan for no real good reason to get the Power Stone and didn't lose it. He is a terrible general. He better be really strong, because his scheming is not working out very well.
Seems
for him.
lazy, if you ask me.
I did see this shot from one of the trailers of Infinity War where Captain America has his hands are around the gauntlet, and Thanos is so big that his little hands go around. Each hand goes around a finger. And it's really cute because it looks like baby fingers around his giant gauntlet.
Are they taking this battle to space?
Yeah.
Because how is Captain America supposed to be in space doing battles? He can't breathe. You know what I mean?
Well, we know that. Okay, so just real fast. So the Infinity Stones, in case anyone is wondering, they are 6 artifacts or singularities that existed before the universe was born. And they compressed universal abilities, right? Which is why are these big things. And I read, though I didn't remember this at all from my childhood, that they were created by Death, Entropy, Infinity, and Eternity, who are 4 of the more powerful celestials of the universe. Do you remember that at all, though?
I'm actually in the middle of a large-scale reread of, like, Marvel chronology, and I haven't gotten up to the only one that I've gotten to is, ironically, the first one. The Soul Stone appears years before any of the other stones do, and so I actually haven't gotten up to the point of their appearance yet, so I don't recall. I don't know where they come from in the...
And the Soul Stone's the one we haven't seen yet.
Yeah, in the
So,
movies.
I'm thinking, now this is probably wrong, but this is just my thought. I wonder if maybe there isn't a stone in the meteor that fell to Wakanda.
It's possible. Yeah, I know that, like, Ryan Coogler said that they specifically didn't put an Infinity Stone in Black Panther because they already had, they're like, we've got one magic rock with vibranium. We don't want a second magic rock. So it's possible, but I kind of hope not, because, like, then we're getting awful Earth-centric, right? You know, you happen to have a whole bunch of stones that are, like, found on Earth. And, like, it doesn't speak very well of Odin that he would have hidden his, the space stone on the same planet that has already a stone in it. But it could be, yeah.
I don't know. So, well, we're going to find out, I guess. And like you say, maybe he'll just come with that stone already, right? Because isn't there, there's a storyline in the comics, I think it's the Infinity War storyline, maybe. This isn't necessarily a spoiler, because who knows what the movie's going to do. But where Thanos falls in love with Lady Death, and he has the Soul Stone, so he can kill half the people in the universe.
Yeah, he
snaps.
So Infinity War seems to be somewhat based on the Infinity Gauntlet storyline. The Infinity War was the follow-up series, but it makes a better title than Infinity Gauntlet. And in that, he gets the gauntlet, and he snaps his finger and kills half the universe as, like, a gift to Death. And he ends up getting defeated basically just by his own, like, sense of inferiority, and
been
so,
there,
and so he ends up bringing them all back to life or whatever. So he it's because he's in love with this, like, physical embodiment of death.
Can you guys tell me a little more about Thanos? Like, because literally all I know about him is what's in the movie. He had these adopted daughters, Gamora and Nebula.
So here, I'll give you 2 versions. One is the simple version, one is the super complex version. The simple version is that he is a super powerful member of a super powerful alien race who falls in love with the concept of death and just, like, marches across the universe as, like, space Hitler.
So there's multiple Thanoses out there?
No. What I'm saying is, like, that's the short version.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the Cliff Notes.
I mean, the even shorter version is that Jack Kirby, who like co-created most of the Marvel stuff, went to DC Comics and created this awesome character called Darkseid, and Marvel was like, hey, he made that character, let's make our own. And so they made Thanos in, like, imitation of a DC character.
And did they beat the DC movies too using
By
that
far,
character?
yes. Yeah. Even though Darkseid is a much better character, I think, but they've, like, shied away from using him in the DC films because it's they'd be accused of copying Thanos now.
So unfair.
Yeah,
that's
so
life.
The long version, and I'm gonna just run through this as quickly as I can. So the Celestials are this ancient race of giants who
like Ego.
Yes, only in the comics, Ego is not a Celestial. The Celestial are a specific race. Ego is an elder of the universe, like the Grandmaster and the Collector.
Okay.
But the Celestials are a specific race of beings who come to different planets and do weird genetic experiments. They created they came to Earth and experimented and created 3 offshoots. Humanity, the Eternals, who basically are where we get our images of gods from, and the Deviants, which is where we get our images of devils from. A contingent of Eternals left Earth a long time ago and ended up on Titan, the moon of Saturn, and they settled down there. And eventually, one of them had several children, one of whom is called Eros, who is the rapiest Avenger. And he's an Avenger who has the ability to make people fall in love with him, and has had like there are stories where he does have sex with women under that control, and they've tried to approach that in like a more serious tone in recent years. Anyway, and then his brother is Thanos. So Thanos is an offshoot of them. So he's a Titan. Okay. He's an evil Eternal. But he's just a real bad, real powerful dude.
Mm. So this is. Oh, I'm sorry, Morgan.
No.
That's perfect segue into top 10 most powerful characters currently in this universe.
Okay. Ooh. In the comics universe or the movie universe?
I think we're doing more the movie universe. Yeah, because the comics are so cute.
Right, because in the comic universe, you're like, well, there's an objective God that they talk about at times, so you gotta go with that, yeah.
And they keep adding. It's like in the comics, there's someone more powerful.
Right, you basically like, well, I guess the God, the Living Tribunal, Eternity, like it's all these cosmic entities that you have to get to.
So, I'm just gonna run through 10 through 6, because I think they're pretty basic. Mm-hmm. And actually, they're very debatable, but that's what makes them basic, I think.
Okay.
And then the top 5, I think are gonna be really fascinating, because it connects to the Eternals, Celestials.
It's all gonna be Guardians of the Galaxy characters, you know?
A lot of it is. Yeah, those top 5, definitely. So, so number 10, Black Panther. Number 9, Iron Man. Number 8, the Hulk. Number 7, Scarlet Witch. Number 6, Thor. Some of those are debatable. I'd put Scarlet Witch kind of higher myself, but
I'm shocked to see Iron Man on there because I feel like he's useless without that suit, right?
But he has a suit for every occasion.
He does. He's very smart.
He's Iron Man, not Tony Stark.
Yeah.
So it could be, you know, I think that also that becomes like then Iron Man / War Machine. You know, it's like whoever's in that suit.
It's kind of his whole corporation and like lifestyle.
Mm-hmm. That's fair.
All that stuff. Okay, so number 5, we've got Vision with the stone in his head.
Who I love.
You do love him. You were telling me about this. You have
I kind of want him to be my boyfriend.
He's lovable, but you have like a deep love.
Is it just because he's Paul Bettany?
I don't know. I can't tell, and I do think that helps.
My favorite thing is when he's like, they always have him wearing these like giant turtlenecks.
He always looks so weird.
But I realize why. It's because otherwise it's so he doesn't have to spend 8 hours in a makeup chair.
Yeah.
It's so that like anytime that they can put him, the more clothes they can put him in, the less crazy makeup they have to put him in. Like when he's in his superhero outfit.
He looks fly as hell.
I finally realized that in my last watch through. Like that's why he always has giant collars and turtlenecks on.
That checks out.
He and Scarlet Witch are so cute.
They're sweet together.
Cute / so sad.
Yeah.
They are doomed lovers.
Oh yeah. I really hope the movies don't go with the like make believe babies.
Wait, what?
They conceive children through magic at one point, but then it turns out that it was just like a trick of a bad guy, and their children are like wiped from existence.
No,
it's rough,
right?
It's
Mephisto?
It's not. It's someone else. It's like
some
mini,
devil.
Yeah. But it's a very.
Y'all
rough.
just made me sad.
Yeah.
Girl, Scarlet Witch has a hard life, and that's the truth.
That poor baby.
That is the truth.
But who'd have thunk? The most important Olsen sister.
Right?
Not the one I would have thought.
Okay, so 5, we agree Vision's very, very powerful.
Yeah.
4, now this is kind of a strange one, but the person I got this list from, his name's Emergency Awesome on YouTube. I don't know if you know him. But he was saying he had based this on interviews that people have done about her.
Okay.
Captain Marvel in this universe is supposedly going to be incredibly powerful.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see.
We'll have to see.
TBD on that
I know 0% about her, but we don't have to spend any time on her. But I have so much to learn.
Yeah, we'll get enough about her because she's gonna be a big. She's gonna be introduced in Infinity War.
Is
but
she
then she's
gonna be an Avenger? Or
she shot footage. We don't know. She's supposedly not in this Avengers film.
Second one,
but because they shot they. I don't know if they still are shooting but they shot them like back to back.
Okay.
So I think that they did shoot footage for Avengers 4 with her in it.
Okay.
It's exciting. I mean, we need a good, very powerful.
And it'll be really interesting because the only 2 films between these 2 are Ant-Man and the Wasp and Captain Marvel. And
that's it?
Yeah, and Ant-Man and the Wasp might take place before Infinity War, and Captain Marvel definitely does. It's like a flashback film.
Okay.
So it'd be interesting if they don't actually take place between the 2 movies, and it's just like one of the it literally is like the second after the first film ends, the second one begins.
Weird.
It's kind of what I'm hoping for because they haven't done that yet.
Yeah.
Me too. Okay. And then so we don't know about that yet. That's a TBD. Number 3, most powerful, Doctor Strange.
crazy.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I get behind that one because you never know. That motherfucker can do anything.
Though it depends on his, like, level, because we found that he's very good at, like, studying these things, that his, like, photographic memory, his thing that doesn't exist in real life makes him, like, the perfect for the Sorcerer Supreme. So I guess it depends on what level of accomplishment he's gotten up to by the time we get to the film, but yeah.
And if he can keep all of his stones and all of his boots and bots and bobbies.
Well, he's got that cape.
Girl, I love that cape.
It's so stylish.
That's what's gonna win the war, that cape. Number 2, Thanos. And then number 1, this is kind of a cheat, but I was amused by it. The Watchers, who were going to be in Infinity War, but aren't actually, they watch, hence their name. So they are mega powerful, but they can't change anything, supposedly. They meddle.
I find it rough to say the ones who haven't been in something yet, because we don't know how they'll be portrayed necessarily.
I guess that's true.
So I guess this isn't including characters who have died, right?
No, because
Ego,
Odin, the ancient
Odin,
Ego,
exactly. Because Odin, Ego, the ancient one, and like pre Guardians 2 Peter Quill, I would say, are all probably up there because the Celestial, and possibly also, I would say the Collector and the Grandmaster might be up there because they're also
the Grandmaster. Yeah, he's so ridiculous.
Because they're also Elders of the Universe.
What's with I'm sorry, the people that you just named. You said
the Elders of the Universe?
No, you said Ego and then
Grandmaster and the Collector.
Oh, right before that, sorry.
The Celestials?
No, I was gonna say something.
Odin, the Ancient One. It's crazy how many... I'm sorry, baby. I'm trying to give you brain power. But
Odin. So Odin's Thor's father.
Yeah.
He had this other daughter that he neglected to mention. Did he have that daughter with Thor's mother or a different person?
I think it's with Thor's mother.
And that bitch was just like, yeah, let's get rid of her and never talk about her again. We'll make a new baby.
Her, though. I mean, you met Hela. Would you really be like, yeah, keep her around?
I would not be proud of her. Yeah. That's for sure.
I mean, it's not like Frigga was like the most giving mother. She let Odin screw with those kids quite a bit. So,
She had some powers too, right?
Yeah.
I was kind of bummed she was so weak in Ragnarok, but... Ragnarok, yeah. Because she has like a few little fight scenes, but then she mostly just gets thrown around. But I mean, whatever. She's
one of the very few... Like, if you actually think about it, there's very few characters in the movies who... other than the villains, who are the good guys who die. So few, there's a lot who come close, but very few actually die and stay dead. There's like Odin and Frigga and
Scarlet Witch's brother,
Quicksilver, and most of the other people, like Coulson, comes back. And there's not very many others who die along the way.
It's just, I mean, we've alluded to this and we said it straight out, but I just cannot believe that they killed off Ego in one movie.
It took like 5 minutes.
And gone.
They used a baby twig to set a bomb off and now he's dead.
And he was literally a living planet. And he is dead now. So my point is, for this top 10 most powerful characters, no one is safe. Because we've seen some mega powerful people die. I mean, well, some people are probably safe. Some actors are probably safe.
But speaking of that, I don't know much about, anything beyond what I've seen in movies. But I've heard lots of chatter of, character transitions or, basically, passing the torches.
Yeah.
So what's
Thor is safe because Chris Hemsworth has said, I would be happy to do more of these films. So, they're probably going to want him to do that. Robert Downey Jr. has talked about leaving because, well, first of all, he's not under the same contract as the rest of them are. The rest of them had these multi-picture deals, but when they signed him, it was just for the one movie. So it he costs way more than anyone else does.
Nice.
Also, he's what 55 now. He's
dude. I have no idea. He looks good though.
Yeah. And so I think that he's ready to kind of move on. Chris Evans is has said that he is done. That he's, after this last Avengers
that's crazy. He's busy doing other great films making tons of money?
No, he's going around stealing people's wives.
Obviously.
I don't know if that's a true thing. You're the one who told me that. But,
pretty sure that's true.
He wants to direct, I think. Is that he's pretty...
He's tired of being the boring Avenger.
He's tired of being Captain America, and I think he's tired of acting just in general, and he's more interested in, directing.
That's fair.
Do you think he'll die then? Do you think Captain America will die?
I don't know. It's really... I think that one of the two will. I think that either either Iron Man or Captain America will die at the end of this first one.
You think so?
Because it gives you this like huge motivation now for the second one, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Well, okay, so between them also it's kind of confusing, like which one of them leads the Avengers? Like who's in charge here?
Yeah. It's I mean, it is... I think that it is unquestionably Captain America when they're all together. You know, like there's the line in the second Avengers where Iron Man's like, I just
have all the money and all the ideas.
He still calls the shots, but like, I think that they accept that, you know, like, but now like the Avengers are what, like Tony and the Vision, like literally those are the only Avengers left, and like a crippled War Machine, you know, so like, so I guess he's nominally the leader at the moment.
Iron Man?
Yeah. But I think, you know, look, maybe they'll have both of them die. Like that'd be a mindfuck, you know?
Epic.
Yeah. But
you think somebody's gonna? I think you're right. I think we have to lose some main characters.
I think between the two of them, one of them will die and one of them will like retire. I think in more...
Or maybe Tony will die and Captain just won't have the heart anymore.
Yeah, I think more likely... I don't know, it would be a sort of like happy ending to give Tony kind of the happy ending, you know? Because like we have way more invested in his relationship with Pepper than
some people do.
than Cap and like pretty blonde niece of the love interest that we actually cared about.
So
you know?
boring. Just like him.
Yeah.
But by the same token, like the story arc for Tony is much more building up to him dying and sacrificing himself for the world, because literally every Avengers movie has been like, when are you gonna make a sacrifice, Tony? Aren't you gonna make a sacrifice? Yeah.
Well, you know, we're gonna have, I saw 67 individual characters.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and there's a shot in which there are 40 separate heroes. So we might be seeing, it might not just be
it
one
doesn't
or two.
even make sense.
It might be 10 or 12 that die. You know what I mean?
It's too many people.
It's a lot of people, but it's going to be amazing, though. To see on the big screen all of those people.
That's crazy.
Like, I'll tell you who's very safe. Black Panther, Shuri, anyone from Black Panther. Probably any of the Guardians are pretty safe.
You think so?
Because there's the third. They've already announced that the third one's coming out, and like those stand on their own enough that I feel like it'd be weird if you like came back and like, hey, remember Drax and how he's dead now? You're like, wait, what?
No, not Drax.
Yeah.
I know. Drax is comic relief.
I think it is definitely like Iron Man and Captain America who are the ones on the chopping block.
Huh? Because also, to be honest, it'd be real easy to kill Hawkeye. I'm still surprised he's alive at this point.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And Jeremy Renner's not a young man either.
No, truth. Yeah, I think I think that they might not kill him just because they like you can keep bringing him for cameos because I think he's like amenable to it because he doesn't have to that's the problem is that with someone like Jeremy Renner where you just come in and you're playing a smaller part, it's not like Captain America or Iron Man where you have to like carry the film in the same way. It's a much more exhausting thing. Same with Thor, but like I think Chris Hemsworth is just a little more game to do it more than the other two are. Still.
What do you think about the treatment of Black Widow? Because it's like, sometimes it seems like she's so important and so central to the storyline, and she holds a lot of people together, and like she has this whole thing with the Hulk, but then sometimes it's like, oh, there's that woman Avenger. She's over there looking pretty with like tight clothes on.
Right, and a very
so
small
weird.
gun. Yeah.
It's so weird.
I like her best in the two films that the Russo brothers have directed so far, so I have faith for Infinity War. I like her best in Winter Soldier and Civil War.
I liked her in Civil War.
I think those are the ones
very dynamic.
that had it best where you're just like, okay, she is the ultimate super spy, that like, and you take that, not that she's like just this like fighting fuck toy, but that she is like actually like really good at being a spy, and that like when she and Cap are on the run, she's like, here's what we do this, we do X, Y, Z, and I really like her that they, I know we were talking about like male-female friendships and whether it's a real thing, but I really like her friendship with Hawkeye and like
they're really sweet.
How it absolutely is one that like they go to great pains to like in the first Avengers, you think that maybe
that she's in love with
you think that there's a love, but like then the second one, it makes it clear that it is a deep and abiding love that is based on camaraderie and friendship, and that like that love extends to his family as well, and so I really enjoy that friendship. And then like their line in Civil War where it's like, we're still friends, right? And it depends on how hard you hit me.
That was they're really sweet.
Yeah, that their friendship transcends what they're doing. And I liked her story arc in Civil War, where basically she, to me, sort of has what is my perspective on the kind of politics of Civil War, which is that, like, Iron Man is right in terms of what he's aiming for, that, like, the Sokovia Accords are the right thing to do. He just goes about them in such a wrong way because he's such a douchebag, you know? And so, like, when, like, she sees Captain America and he's, like, fighting on the wrong, you know, he's fighting politically the wrong side, but, like, she's like, in this moment, he's doing this thing that is right. He's, you know, doing what he fully believes is the right thing. And she's like, well, all right, I'm going to stop Black Panther for you, you know? And, like, she does that out of friendship. That, to me, like, is the sort of heart of that story. Is like her, the way she chooses between the side. That she chooses the man that is Captain America, but while still believing that Iron Man is right politically.
Well, look, Infinity War, you know, I don't know if y'all heard, but it might be the most expensive movie ever made.
Just in, like, salaries.
Just salaries. It's
like you could, like, it could be like a kitchen.
You've got all the Chris's
like,
there.
you could literally film the entire film could just be shot in, like, an open field, and it would still be one of the most expensive movies just to fly all those actors out to that open field.
I've heard a $400 million budget is being bandied around, and I did send them a postcard, and I said, could you spare maybe like a couple $100?
Why
maybe
not?
like $10,000?
I mean, the good news is it's probably already made that back in pre-sales. Like, that is going to be a monster hit.
Yeah,
I think
we bought like 10 tickets for opening night.
Yeah, I mean, like, as a, you know, progressive liberal with plenty of white guilt, like, I would love for Black Panther to be the best, you know, money maker, but, like, realistically, this one is going to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're going to get everyone who went to see Black Panther, plus, you know, that's if nothing else, you have the people who, like, went to, like, the last Avengers film, which did really well, plus all the people brought in now because they're like, oh, I want to see more Black Panther, you know?
Or people who just want to see the spectacle. All the people on hallucinogenic drugs are going to be in that theater because
I'm already overwhelmed.
I'm already on hallucinogenic drugs! Well, it's going to be long, it's going to be beautiful, it's going to have everyone we love in it, someone we think is going to die.
I mean, I will promise you this. A person will die in that movie, whether it's a named character or not. I bet there will be a death somewhere in that film.
So Thor lost his hammer, cause Hela was like, I crush it. So now he's just manifested his powers at all times. He has access to them, so he just basically is Raiden from Mortal Kombat. Is that, like, the next step for Thor? That's, like, where we're at?
Well, they did, I think that, like, he no longer needed the hammer, like, the hammer, what he used to fly? Did he fly in Ragnarok without the hammer? I don't remember.
Did he? I think he just jumped really high.
Because everything else he could still kind of do without the hammer. He just wasn't as strong.
Well, that kind of sucks. He can't fly anymore.
Except in the first one. Because in the first one, there was the enchantment that put it under. And then, presumably, once you destroyed the hammer, he now just has his powers without the hammer. But
he can't fly. He needs one of those Doctor Strange capes.
No. Yeah! Maybe the less sassy brother of Doctor Strange's cape, because that cape's too sassy.
The carpet from Aladdin.
Exactly. No, also very sassy. Is that the, because there's a thing called Odin Force, right? Is that real life? Okay.
Not in real life.
Well, who knows?
Unless you're very, very Norse and still, you know.
And maybe kind of right-leaning. Have you heard how people returning to Norse mythology is like a white power thing?
Which is funny, because if you go to, like, you want to go to a place that is pretty left-leaning, go to a Nordic country, you know? Like,
unless they're worshipping Thor and Odin, evidently. But, okay, so there's Odin Force, which is his Odin powers. There's also Thor Force, though, right? Which is a set. Is that true?
Maybe. I've never been the biggest follower of the Thor comics, so I don't know. And in theory, once Odin died, like, Thor should have the Odin Force, because he's now king of Asgard, you know? So, but who knows?
So there's a lot that really is very unclear. I mean, partially because there have been 1,000 comics written about every single one of these things, and so there are so many branches and ways that things can go. Yeah. So I feel we didn't even give a spoiler alert on this really for like Infinity War, even though we've talked about a lot of Infinity War stuff.
And I should say, like, I know you briefly mentioned one image from the trailer. I have not seen any of the trailer.
I actually haven't either. Yeah, I was just telling you.
The most I have done is looked at one of the posters, like, just to see what characters there are, but I have not, like, I've intentionally kept away from seeing any trailers for, because I already bought a ticket. I know I'm seeing this. I'd rather be surprised by every little thing that I can be surprised by. So all of my, spoilery things are supposition, which I didn't even realize this. I accidentally had like a major spoiler for Civil War on Facebook when I did the same thing. And I'd done a full watch through, some people didn't notice it. Maybe it's subtle. I thought it was pretty clear that Bucky had killed Tony's parents. I thought that the Winter Soldier made that.
Oh, I didn't think that was subtle at all.
Yeah, exactly. And so I was like, oh man, that's going to be like, that's probably going to, I wonder if that's going to be a thing that comes up. And then when that's like the narrative twist at the end, you're like, that's not really a twist. Like, that's like a thing we, like, the audience, I think, already knew. So it's weird that you're treating it like it's a twist, and it'd be like, here's the big secret. Spider-Man's Peter Parker. Like, oh, wait, we knew that. Why are we, what?
Maybe they're just assuming that the audience is not, there have been so many movies now, maybe they're like, girl, they won't remember what happened
is
8
fair.
movies ago. Completely fair.
Yeah.
Still waiting for Liv Tyler to come back.
R.I.P. Hulk's moved on. Have you seen Black Widow?
Hello, goodbye. All right, friends, so why don't we go ahead and wrap up here? Any other questions, Morgie, maybe that were burning for you? I know you had a good list, but I think we covered a lot.
We know what else is burning, but that's
only when she pees.
Gonorrhea. No, I feel like we covered all my questions. Andrew, I was just going to wonder if you had any predictions, because we're not in the same boat, because you know vastly more than I do, but we're in the same boat of like not watching the trailer. So I have like no concept of anything that might be happening. Is there any like nugget of like, oh, I hope they do this with this character, or are you just excited that there's a million Marvel characters?
I guess I'm kind of excited. Yeah, I'm excited that it's so I think I may have talked about this last time when I talked about Justice League. My favorite comic book series is Crisis on Infinite Earths, because it's all of these characters all together. It's like this big ultimate battle. The DC universe is, 20 years away from being able to pull that off in their, in their movies at best. This is the closest that I'm going to get to one of those big, giant crossovers. So I'm just kind of excited to just sort of see what they do with it. And as I said, predictions, just from reading the tea leaves of, like, real life and the tea leaves of what they've been doing, with the narrative of the stories, it seems like it'll be either you'll have, Tony or Steve die. And then probably another character, kind of take up the mantle. What I'm hoping
as
for,
leader? Or
not necessarily as leader, but just as like taking, becoming Captain America or becoming the new Iron Man.
I see, taking over.
Yeah, what I would really love is to see Shuri take over as Iron Man.
That'd be kind of dope.
Because you now have another super genius in a suit, and it would be very much like in the comics. There's the character Riri Williams, who's an African American teenager who basically just made her own Iron Man suit just from like deconstructing his designs. And so it would be kind of somewhat a version of that, I think. And that would be really cool. But the other thing that I hope for is I would love a cliffhanger. Like, I think it would be really fun if there's just like a flat out giant cliffhanger at the end of this film.
Yeah. Okay.
And
You're that person.
Because it's only
might be on the
it's only granted, we may not make that year as a people, there's
to be determined.
It is the worst year to have a cliffhanger maybe ever, but like it is,
maybe they'll cut us some slack and just put it out in August.
Right, exactly.
Listen, we know you need this.
I hope that the Russo brothers at all points have they're like, well, the missiles are flying online. Okay, keep
That's why I finished that whole bag of Doritos last night, because I was like, I may not wake up in the morning.
YOLO.
The world might be over.
Yeah.
I have to eat that whole family-size bag.
You earned it.
Plus, having a nice cliffhanger, another way to make it through another year.
It's true. I do like looking forward to things.
It is like, I literally, I know I'm getting super political here, but that like, when Trump was elected, I literally looked at like, what films are coming out between now and 2020 as like a thing to look forward to in life during those 4 years. That's
real life. I keep lying to myself every day and saying Game of Thrones is coming out soon.
Mm-hmm.
We know that's not happening. But it's the thought
soon
that
on like the universal scale.
No.
Yeah.
Don't.
That's that. You know what? Once Trump got elected, I started really getting into the Let's Plays on YouTube, watching them, not doing them. And every day I've got a Let's Play to look forward to. And straight up, we all cope in different ways. I totally feel
I really recommend, they don't do Let's Play so much, but Polygon.com does a lot of great content, and they're a game site that is like deliberately and like specifically progressive in their views, so it's really refreshing. Yeah.
Ooh, that's a great
and like
plug.
it is. You'll see like these in their like live stream chats, people calling each other gay, but like as a compliment, you know, like it's using like gay as like I'm gay, I'm so gay, and I love calling it, you know, and it's really
it's cute.
It is it's a lot of fun, yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna check that out.
And they're two of the I don't know if you listen to the My Brother and Me podcast or know anything about the McElroys, who some of our friends are completely obsessed with.
Oh, really? Are they?
They work at that company, so it's they do a lot of really good stuff if you're looking for like fun video game content, you know.
Ooh, always. Let's see. Well, actually, speaking of fun video game content, my little plug this week, I actually mentioned it already, but because I cribbed his top 10 list, I felt it was only fair to plug Emergency Awesome on YouTube. He's a YouTuber who covers essentially anything MCU, anything nerdy, anything comic book. And by anything, I mean he puts out a 10-minute top 10 video on essentially every episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., every like episode of Arrow he was doing for a while, The Flash. He's got a lot. He also covers every single movie in depth, every trailer. This guy is committed. So if you want to know more in depth than what
let's hope he wasn't hit too hard by the demonetization on YouTube. That sounds like a career if you're, you know, that seems like a full-time gig.
You know what? I think that boo-boo, he doesn't need my help. I'll tell you that for sure. He gets like hundreds of thousands of views. He's one of the experts.
Nice.
So, yeah, Emergency Awesome on YouTube. One word.
Nice. I'll have to check that out. Well, things that have been consuming my time besides my Marvel rewatch, which literally has consumed weeks of like my content viewing experience. I've been reading 2 books, and listen, I can't remember if I plugged one of them in the last episode, so fuck it. I'm gonna just plug both of them now. I finished The Couple Next Door, which was a book club pick for the book club I'm in, because I'm a basic white girl, and it was so good for anyone who loves murder mystery. I've already recommended it to the ladies because the ladies love murder, just like me, and it was like, I picked it up, and like 2 days later, suddenly I was just done. Like I couldn't put it down. Like as soon as I would get home, I'd be like, maybe I'll just pick this little book back up. Super great. And then I also have been enjoying the Mistborn series by Brandon Sanderson. Flew through the first one, and I'm on the second one. So read a book is fucking good for you.
Yeah. Makes you a better person.
Andrew, do you have anything else, or just that thing you just plugged?
I can give, so I got 2 recommendations. One, I've been rereading a lot of the old like 70s Marvel precursor to the Infinity War stuff. So I really recommend getting the Jim Starlin Captain Marvel and or Warlock collections, or if you want the more Thanos specific stuff, it's a collection called Avengers versus Thanos, which collects most of that early 70s Starlin stuff, which is the first appearance of Thanos, the first appearance of like the Infinity Stones as a larger concept, and it's really good, and he used that stuff in a very kind of like psychedelic 70s way to explore some philosophical issues, and really holds up really well. Even more so, I think, than like the actual Infinity Gauntlet stuff that the movies are more explicitly based on, because it's a lot more character based back then. And the other thing I'll plug is a book I read recently. I'm blanking on the author. It's called Toxic Geek Masculinity. And it's an academic book, but it's not dry. It's written by, actually I think it's 2 female scholars who talk about, you know, identifying as geeks themselves, but are really analyzing the problems of masculinity in geek culture and the ways in which it can be made inaccessible, especially to women, and the ways in which, you know, these forms of you know, kind of alpha male masculinity that geeky culture supposedly hates become reproduced in geeky culture in things like the hating of like the Twilight films. And so it's made me actually reconsider a lot of my like own, you know, actions, and realizing like, oh, I have been, you know, like I've never been, you know, like I've never been someone like screaming like, how dare you cast a woman in this role, but like I've like made fun of films that my wife likes, you know, that for like no good reason, you know, because
Kaylee really needs to quit watching porn though. It's so weird.
Yeah,
it's like we're having a like dinner party. You know what I mean?
It's a problem.
Look, I mean, Golden Girls. This ain't Golden Girls. Triple X is, you know.
Yeah, she has seen
something that probably exists, but I'm not going up. But no, and so it's made me sort of like rethink some of my own actions.
Well, that's nice.
And so any book that does that, I always really recommend.
Mm-hmm. That's by, make sure this is right, Anastasia Salter and Bridget Blodgett?
Yes, that sounds right.
That's a good name, Bridget Blodgett.
That sounds made the fuck up.
It does sound made up. Actually, I wrote this book.
Whoa.
No, I'm not going to steal the words of two women. That's
Definitely check out that stuff. Check out YouTube. Check out these books I was reading. And while you're checking shit out, you might as well check out Beauty and the Bitch. Please subscribe to our podcast wherever you're listening to this right now or wherever you get your podcasts. You can check us out on our website, bnbcast.wordpress.com. Find us on all the social medias.
What if I get my podcast at Toys R Us?
Ooh, R.I.P.
No.
Too soon.
So sad. But you can still go to Blockbuster and get it.
But if millennials would just have babies, they'd still be in business.
That's true. If we could afford to have anything, maybe.
Aww.
That would work.
That's so true.
And anyway,
how's that avocado toast treat?
Don't be coming from my sesame seeds on top right now. If you're on YouTube checking out Emergency Awesome or anything else, you should definitely check out my Let's Play I've got going on right now.
Oh.
It's Let's Queer Witcher 3 is actually what it's called. And we just moved to a 2-a-week schedule. So Tuesdays and Thursdays. Hot take, hot damn! Come be super gay with me. There was one episode that just came out where it's really quiet. I am so sorry. But I fixed that immediately, so don't let that turn you off.
He added a track of him just screaming at the top of his voice.
Yeah.
That sounds deeply accurate. And while you're on YouTube, definitely subscribe to Literary Darlings and then head over to my website, morganizedmess.com for all my things and follow me on the gram at morganizedmess. Andrew, where can people find out more about you?
Well, you can follow my general writings on my blog, andrewfriedenthal.com, which is not optimized for SEO purposes, I realize. It's AndrewFriedenthal.
.com.
Yeah, I mean, just look at how my name's described in the description and type that in .com. Or you can look for my book Retcon Game, Retcon Game, Retroactive Continuity, and the Hyperlinking of Work. I did this last time,
Don't worry, baby. We're going to link to that book for you.
Right.
You can get it on Amazon,
you
right?
get it on Amazon and wherever fine books are sold. Well, not really. You can't get them in, bookstores because this is an academic
Don't be
book.
ridiculous.
You have to order it online, pretty much. But you can order it from many online retailers. And then I'll do a plug. I've started... this is since I last was here, but I do kind of monthly pop culture and theater and self-reflective columns for sightlinesmag.org, which is, especially if you're in Austin, it is a Austin-based culture journal started by Jean Claire Van Ryzen, who was the arts editor at the Austin American Statesman for decades, and then they downsized her in a foolish move. I won't say that much worse about the Statesman because I still freelance for them, but and so she very graciously asked me to contribute, and so I do monthly pieces for them. So I wrote one about my favorite comics from the last year. I wrote one about Black Panther, and then my most recent one was about just kind of the nostalgia culture in general and the goods and bads of it. So that's sort of where my most personal writing gets to, and then I also do theater reviews and blogs for Austin American Statesman and Time Out Austin. But if you follow the unwieldy name to my website, then you can get links to all of those things as they go up.
All right. So be sure to check out Andrew and all of our other garbage.
Because there's not nearly enough content in the world right now.
Right, exactly. There's just nothing to watch.
Collectively, we're helping corner that market.
Yeah, clog the artery of the world right now.
All right. Well, until next time when we'll do it all over again.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
Do you have a home? Beauty in the Bitch. You look bitch. Beauty in the Bitch. Beauty in the Bitch. Bitch.
Bye.